What up, what up? My name is Los Antonio. Welcome back to No Sleeping in the Trophy Room. And I'm back with some very special friends of mine from Atlanta. Ladies and gentlemen, one time for Ryan and TK, founders of The Gathering Spot. Fellas, how you feeling?
Pleasure to be here with you, Los.
No, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for taking the time, during this crazy time to step into the trophy room and check in. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
So fellas, I want to get right to it. How has the coronavirus, I know you guys are in Atlanta. How has the coronavirus affected you guys down there, and more specifically at The Gathering Spot?
True to our name, The Gathering Spot, we haven't been able to gather. It's been really interesting how fast this thing has picked up. We host a lot of events. Last year hosted like 2,400 events at the club. And so our calendar, both for things that we're building for the membership, but also that is just being hosted at the club, has been really, really impacted. If you look through April and May, we're going to have a way different springtime than what we imagined. But at the same time, it's given us opportunity to work on some stuff that we hadn't in a while. But it's been interesting. Most of our team is there. We've got about 100 people that are part of our team, and a lot of them are in either the restaurant that we have at the club or are there for the events that we host. So it's been interesting navigating that part of it too.
Yep. Now, as entrepreneurs, that at this moment that you guys, obviously in times like this, you guys are concerned about the people that you employ, the people that look to you for help and day to day, week to week. What are some of the things that you guys are doing, or whether it's online, offline? I know they're changing regulations, and they're shutting down the streets at certain hours, so it's kind of like we're playing it by ear. But what are some of the things that you've done, and some of the things that you're looking to do to provide assistance at this time?
So one of the things that we're doing is we wanted to make sure that we took care of our team first and foremost. So with the restaurants being forced to close in the city of Atlanta, we have perishable goods that wouldn't be any good by the time we could reopen, even if it was in April. So instead of throwing them out or giving it to some other organization, we allowed our team to have first dibs at everything that we had, and actually just rolled out today that while we're closed and figuring out the best way to move forward, we're going to be offering our team the opportunity to come in and get meals each day next week, while things are going crazy and grocery stores are having to be restocked all the time, and other restaurants in their respective areas might be closed. Just want to make sure that there's a lifeline for basic goods.
Yeah, we're continuing to pay all of our folks. We thought that was important too. And the business is really pivoted to building community online. So we've long said that we're not in the space business, we're in the community business. And this has really given us an opportunity to be able to show that I think this week we must have recorded maybe 30 pieces of content that were all kind of new things that we're bringing specifically to the membership to try to help them get through this time. So, that's kind of been our approach, trying to make sure that our team is good and trying to make sure that the membership is good too, even though that, those interactions are online.
Yep. Man, if there's one good thing that's coming from all of this, is just the heightened sense of community and, just what it's all about. Love is just really supporting each other in dire times of need like this, man. So I commend both of you guys and everything that you guys are doing and all the efforts. What about, personally, like what are some of the things that you guys are doing, mentally to really, counteract, the energy and all the information that's coming out? It's very easy to get caught up in the details of what's going on right now. What are some of the things that you guys are doing to really counter what's going on?
Yeah, I think for me, firstly, is just making sure that I'm only focusing on official sources of information and not getting too caught up in, things that are being texted to me or shared on social media, because you can send your mind down the rabbit hole with all the rumors and, things that people are allegedly hearing from places. And then outside of that, just trying to stay focused on how to create value for the business and how to weather the storm the best way, because I think we can't we can't be in the mind frame of, okay, the government saying we have to stay at home. There's nothing I can do while you're at home. Trying to figure out what we can control while we're still at home, how we can continue to build community digitally, and you just want to make sure that we're still progressing each and every day. So while the work that we expected to be doing has stopped, that has given us an opportunity to work on other parts of the business that we weren't anticipating having that bandwidth for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything TK said. I mean, for us, this has been a time to try to figure out how to create distance. And I think a lot of people right now are at home kind of hibernating and going to sleep a little bit and using this as downtime. And I think it's actually kind of the opposite, right? I mean, there's going to be, you just kind of flip the way that instead of this being a negative experience, which I mean, there are parts about it that are just like not good. But instead of it just being all negative, I mean, I've kind of been thinking about, well, what other time period am I going to have just probably weeks to spend just planning and real deep thought about kind of things that I want to execute. You don't normally have that type of space. And so I'm not looking at it as downtime at all. I think this is time to kind of pick up the pace, but do it in a way that's thoughtful.
Yep. To me, at the end of the day, it really just boils down to you got to stick with controlling what you can control. Like, none of us know when the virus will be contained. None of us know what the next regulation will be. But you know what you're working on. You know what your objectives are, and you know what the environment is right now. So, try to do as best you can with those resources.
Absolutely. And, we definitely can't say that we don't have the time to do things right now. We have all the time in the world. And, time is nothing but what we do with it. So, this is a great time to get with yourself, whether it's spiritually, creatively, with your family, with your loved ones, and really just make the most of it, man. So I'm definitely of the same thinking, and, that's something that people definitely need to hear. And speaking of which, how do you guys feel about the influx of information, that's coming out all the time, hour by hour, minute by minute, there's always just breaking news. How do you guys feel about some of the reactions that you've seen online, whether it's people, in the grocery store kind of going crazy, or just getting, kind of like just throwing off the vibe on the internet? And, how do you guys feel about some of the reactions to some of the news and how it's coming out?
Man, we're talking about the reactions. I think like people find the grocery stores and different things like that. It's unfortunate that's how we react when there's mass hysteria, because if you keep watching the news, you'll see that the major retailers and food distributors are saying they don't have a shortage of food or of toilet paper or anything like that. Like, the stores will get restocked the next day. And it speaks to the fact that, when there's fear in the air, that there's a lot going on. So, you just I try to use that to say that's why we got to stay level, got to keep a calm head. This past Sunday, I went to 4 different grocery stores looking for things, but when I got to the 4th one, I found everything that I didn't get in the prior one. So I think it just speaks to the fact that people get panicked and unfortunately we don't read into all of the details that are shared. We're just reading the headline a lot of times and reacting off of that.
I mean, I think it's important to stay with official sources of information. I mean, look, you can spend and find anything you want on the internet if you look for it hard enough. All of these various conspiracy theories, and look, you gotta. I think what we should agree about at this point is that, like, the virus is something that we need to take seriously. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if you look at it, like, global industry has been shut down. We're talking about, to a complete halt, right? And so there's no way that happened, and there's not something on the other end of that has at least the potential to be serious, right? So, I mean, if you understand that fact plainly enough, that all you can do is go back to what we were talking about before, putting your plans in place and trying to stay as level-headed as possible. Unfortunately, I think that there's too many people who aren't taking it seriously enough, which is going to make this end up go on longer than there are people who are not, who are kind of wilding out about it. I don't think there's too many people in that first camp.
Agreed. So so Ryan, TK, we're spending a lot of time indoors these days, quarantining, obviously. What are some of the quarantine essentials for you guys? Whether it's music, movies. What are some of the things that you guys are doing? During this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, just regularly when I work, I like to have music playing in the background. So I definitely have a playlist going, listening to the latest songs that are coming out. The Weeknd just dropped the album today, so still going through that. And when it comes to like movies and stuff, unfortunately I don't really get to watch as many movies anymore, but I usually have the YouTube app running in the background. I've probably got some highlights going on or something, and that's how I like to have that as white noise while I'm working indoors. And every once in a while, just take a break to stretch or meditate, get your mind right, practice a little mindfulness, because as you're indoors, you can get a little stir crazy. But other than that, just try to stay on the task at hand, because we have so much downtime and it's such a different environment than expected. There's plenty of work to do, so not at a loss for that at all.
Right.
Yeah, I'm similar. I'm listening to those albums. I'm on the got to get through the Weeknd album. I'm listening to J-Elec album, and I'm listening to the news too. Right, still trying to stay on top of not just this particular issue, but like other things that are happening in the world that may have an impact on the stuff that we're working on. And I mean, I'm actually for us, we spend a lot of time at the gathering spot. So part of this time for me has been just like enjoying home. We're doing this call from an office that I set up that I like have probably sat in this chair like 3 times. So I've been just like getting reacquainted with my house, and that's been cool too. So it's been a time to kind of declutter a little bit and get this place back to a spot that I feel like I'll hang out in a little bit more once this is all over.
Absolutely. I mean, the truth is there's always a silver lining, in every situation. And, no sleeping in the trophy room, the foundation of this conversation series is, motivation, experience, and truth. And, and also standing on the foundation of what you believe in the face of adversity, and that's exactly what, that's the message we're pushing. So, I truly appreciate you guys for getting with us here. So fellas, what's your message to all your fans and followers, to really sum it up, like, and to the world at large, when people see this, what's the one thing that you want to leave people with?
Stay busy, stay working. Like, I think like Ryan said, this is not the time to think this was a pandemic sanctioned vacation. If you're creative working on some content, this is still the time. Maybe you can't actively record it, but you can plan it out some more. If you operate in a business, you got to revise projections. You got to, figure out how you're going to change your operations to deal with the new normal of what we're working on. But at the end of the day, I think it's all about your perspective and how you're going to take this moment. So, trying to see it from the most productive perspective you can see it from, and keep moving forward. This too shall pass, and you have to be ready for the next day. You don't want to be caught, flat-footed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I gave the example to our team about a week ago. I was like, look, we got to approach this like this is our first album. Like, it's got to be the same energy that you put in when you like, we're hungry for it, the first time around. And so, I mean, you got to tap back into the thing that made you do whatever you're doing in the first place, and make sure that you're pushing that as hard and as fast as you can. I mean, this is unfortunately, I don't think everybody's going to make it out of this crisis kind of in the same way that they were. At least they're not going to come back the same way that they were before it. And while that's unfortunate, right, that doesn't have to be your reality if you spend the time now really making sure that you're actually doing the work necessary to make it where you're at least coming out neutral, if not hopefully even ahead. Right. So like I don't, and we're not as a business even conceding that this is going to be, something that is going to be super hurtful for us. we're looking at it and saying, hey, look, how do we use this as an opportunity to have an even bigger year, right? I mean, everything is about mindset and making sure that you're approaching things with the energy of what's possible, and not looking at it in terms of the kind of the negative or downsides of what may happen. So yeah, I mean, like TK said, like, use this time and come out on the other end of it better, frankly, than when we started.
Absolutely, and that's all we can do. Is just keep pushing forward together, and just do everything we can to keep the vibe up, and just to stay proactive and move through this whole crisis and continue doing what we do. And we'll see where it ends up.
Indeed.
And so, fellas, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to step into the trophy room. This series is premiering on Revolt TV April 6th. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. The conversation that's fueled by motivation, experience, and truth. And make sure you guys check out the gathering spot. You know what I mean? It's definitely going to be more on the way. So is there anything else that you guys want to leave us with?
No, we appreciate the invitation into the trophy room. Looking forward to the premiere on Revolt on April 6th. And, if you're trying to keep up with what the Gathering Spot is doing, you can find us on social media at The Gathering Spots. Individually, you can find me at Spot On TK. You can find Ryan at Spot On RW. And the Gathering Spot has a lot more coming. Going to open in Washington, D.C. later this year. And going to Los Angeles as well after that. So, stay on the lookout for us in your marketplaces.
Nice. All right, fellas. Once again, thank you so much. All the love to you and your family during this time. And I'll check in with you guys soon, all right?
Same to you. Stay safe out there.
Thank you so much.
Love.